back, and joining us now, Jeff Stonebanks from Driftwood.
Welcome.
Hi.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas,
Christmas,
Jeff. How are you? How are things? Like last week, we showed the viewers what happened when you took us to chop down a Christmas tree.
And wasn't it cold?
Oh,
it was. I think it was like literally the coldest day so far.
Was,
we were out there for quite a while.
We were, yeah.
Yeah, it was
quite cold.
You can tell they're not hardy souls yet.
No, I know. But
It was amazing.
They weren't dressed for it. I was dressed in a coat and scarf and that. The crew all turned up in flimsy clothes.
It was the one day I didn't wear my wellies as well. I've actually worn wellies in your garden, and I actually didn't wear them for this. So,
I had my gilet on.
As ever.
Yeah, but we've been back, haven't we?
You have,
We've been doing some more things. So let's take a look at what we got up to when we went back to Driftwood again.
Jeff, you gave us our own little special Christmas in your house. It was so magical there, by the way.
Yeah, it's a bit like a fairy grotto, really, isn't it?
I know. And like, how many trees do you have? I think
We've got about 3 floor-to-ceiling trees, but
Yeah.
altogether I've probably got about 20 different Christmas trees.
that's amazing. And how many decorations would you say roughly?
I've never counted them, but there must be at least 3, 4, 5,000 of them. And it takes
so
20 odd crates to store them away in the loft.
You had some vintage ones, didn't you, that you tried to donate, but you had too many.
You had too many of them.
I
That's a
had
funny
so
thing.
many decorations that last year I invited a number of museums if they were interested to have them and left to them in my will. And eventually the Jeffrey Museum, which is in
Merry Christmas.
did come and look at them and were fascinated by them, but they just said, I'm sorry, you've got too many.
Yeah.
We couldn't store them. But
How about you, Andy? How many Christmas trees do you have? Can you compete with that?
He has none. He has
You're
none.
like two like the opposites of each other here.
A little bit. 'Cause I mean, my annual holiday is Christmas, and we go away. But obviously, with some of my children being very grown up, and the youngest now is just. We've got a Christmas tree in our block of flats that they've put up outside the lift, which is okay. Apart from it now takes us 10 minutes to get in the loft because she's pointing and picking and
in the lift,
taking everything off the tree that's outside the lift. So but no. It's fantastic. I mean, when just the vintage stuff sounds great.
Well, it's just, it's an aspect of, home decoration, seasonal decoration that I suppose we haven't covered yet because it hasn't been Christmas. So
no, it could be worse. You could be standing outside, just like the house could be covered in lights with reindeer.
Actually, good point. You didn't have the outside decorator. I was
stuff at all.
surprised.
No, dare I say, I think that might be a little bit tacky for me, but there we go. Each to their own.
But then living in the middle of nowhere, no one's going to see it anyway, are they?
Well, that's true, I suppose, yeah.
No, it's gorgeous. And making the wreaths, and then last week when we made the tree decorations and things, is a really good way of utilising what you've got in your garden and making homemade decorations.
No, it's really good. I mean, I've enjoyed Christmas all my life. My parents used to have a pub in the Cotswolds, and we used to decorate, or I used to decorate it every year with holly and ivy and green stuff, and people would come from miles around just to sit by the log fire and see the Christmas decorations. So I suppose it's really an extension of that.
It's great. I mean, using what you've got in your garden, I suppose that's the ideal dream, isn't it? To not have to go out and buy this stuff, because it is expensive.
Yeah, and it's traditional, isn't it? Like the kind of real life garlands and all that malarkey.
I mean, that's how people used to do it. That's how it came along. People just would go, we're growing this stuff, make it look good, and they're just picking it off the trees and picking it from outside and parks, etc., rather than going out and buying them.
So, Driftwood. How is it all wrapped up now for the winter?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's too cold to garden, let's be honest. I mean, I've got my family staying over Christmas, so
do you get twitchy at all? Like, I must garden. Because you garden all year round. It's like withdrawal symptoms.
I start to in the new year. I mean, I've got 17 open days planned for next year.
Really?
And the Macmillan Trail again that you covered earlier in the year as well. So it's a lot of work getting those things organised. So yeah, I do want to get out there, but I must confess, if it's too cold, I'd rather look at it from the inside.
But then we've watched Jeff prepare for this. And
yeah,
she
we've
did all
seen
that
all the
preparation.
Because we wrapped up the succulents.
Yeah, exactly.
You did.
Learned a lot
and
about
carried
that.
all those heavy plants from the front garden to the
How are they
Still recovering. Still recovering.
They're doing well. And I have to say, I checked on those fuchsias that you planted, and one each of yours has not survived, but one of each is going well. No,
one each.
Oh, one each.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Betsy and John.
What are they called? Name your fuchsias.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, they're doing really well, and I think they'll be good next year in the garden.
Those Those pots attacked me, those sharp...
Oh, dear.
They did.
I think it's probably the way you carried them, Andrew.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
You have to get your whole body behind it. You can't just hold it at a distance.
Well, on that note, it's time for another ad break.
You look like you're having a ball in there.
I love that place. I mean,
Wreath Expert.
Yeah.
Did you see the checking the
Was that
wreaths
before or after you'd made the one?
That was before, I
it
think.
was before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, that place is right next door to Brighton and Hove Stuff, isn't it? It's gorgeous.
It's a great showcase of people. There's always people stopping, looking and sitting, because they just make such a great show of their window, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're lovely as well.
I like the dog too.
Yes. I mean, Jeff, from a gardener point of view, I mean, have you ever been in there? It's
I have been in there, yes, yeah.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely shop, yeah, very
Lovely.
nice. I mean, I adore flowers anyway. I mean, the house is always full of flowers, and I generally manage to cut some from the garden and bring it into the house. But my house is, I mean, you should probably saw, I mean, I've got as many plants in the house as I have in the garden, so...
Is there any type of gardening you can do in the house, indoor gardening?
Well, you can get small, remember, before your time, I hasten to say, but very popular in the 70s with these huge glass bottles that you used to put gardens in.
I remember them.
Oh, well,
Bonsai
you're older
trees.
than I thought.
Like a bonsai.
I wasn't yeah, I remember them. I mean, from my big great auntie's house.
Big green things.
And also you could get leaded terrariums as well that you could put them in.
Maybe you could bring it back. You two.
Try.
Get planting.
Me?
Yeah, go on. You're
Me, I'm not getting
The
involved
green
in
fingered
this.
pear.
You're interested in indoor gardening all
I
of
was
a
just
sudden.
curious, because you're doing a lot outdoor, but I was thinking, what is there to do indoor
Well, there's
for the
lots
winter
of
months
things.
when you're
Say
freezing?
those indoor planters like that. But I mean, you just have house plants in the house, and they can really bring the house alive.
Well, that's nearly it for Latest Homes Live in 2014. Just enough time to sum up the year. So, Andy, starting with you, 2014, the property world, the property market. Give us a little
Very quickly, we had this massive peak in sort of February, March, which has just levered off now, and it's just with the time of years dropped down. I think it's really a case of all looking to see what happens next year with the election and see where we all go from there.
That's the big thing.
That's the thing. But I think the confidence is back. Prices have gone back up. People are back in a situation where, there's far, far less negative equity, but we will have to wait and see what happens in the election, I think.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
Jeff, favourite moment filming with us this year? What was your favourite?
I think the one that stands out was one of the first ones we did, where if you remember, you came to the garden and we made those chairs. I showed you a chair that I planted up, and then you both had a go. So I think that's probably my favourite one.
Have you watched all of our time? What was your
Well, obviously
favourite?
he's watched every single episode.
Actually, to be fair, the oranges and lemons last week, I just
That
found
was really
I just
pretty,
like the fact of using everyday stuff, because actually we're so wasteful in what we throw away and everything else, that last week watching the oranges and lemons was, just...
Was it humbling, Andy?
No, but it was fun,
And that tree is still out in the garden and still being visited by lots of birds, so looks good.
That's what I liked about it, the fact that it was kind of organic.
Yes.
Yeah, it had a purpose as well as
It
the
did
being
blow over a few
beautiful.
times with the strong winds, but it's back up again.
living in the middle of nowhere.
It's a survivor. It's a survivor. Andy, what have you enjoyed filming this year?
I think the fact that you let me loose a couple of times on my own, which was mind-blowing, but just generally having fun. That's what we've had. We've actually had.
We've learned a lot about the local area as well through you.
Yeah, we've done that. But you've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And we all learn every day, and it's just been fun to sort of see what's happening in the world and seeing other agents come in and people's opinions and people's views and answering the questions of people, because there are lots of questions out there to be answered. We just need to keep doing it.
And we're not running out of time, but your favourite?
I have to say history and gardening.
Yeah. You have to say that,
No, I genuinely enjoyed learning so much about... I mean, I never gardened before, Jeff, and I know so much more about Brighton, so that when I actually move here, I will be knowledgeable on all the different areas.
You'll know which bus to get.
Exactly. I'll know that.
Well, my favourite thing has been working with you.
There have to be some schmaltz in there somewhere, isn't there?
Of course.
Well, thank you so much to both of you for everything you've done this year for the show. It's all we've really got time for, so all there is left to say now is...
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Happy New Year from everyone at Latest Homes Live. Have a lovely time.
Have a lovely time.
And we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.